This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. When we think of going to the doctor the traditional way, you go, sometimes you get a medication, they're treating the symptoms. They usually don't treat the root cause of whatever you're dealing with. Today, we're going to take a moment and look at the history of medicine. What was it like thousands of years ago? And interestingly, it's still that way. And it's not about taking a pill, if you will. She is somebody who practices acupuncture and therapeutic massage and so much more, and helps people get on their path to wellness. In fact, that's the name of her practice. She is Teresa Wilkinson, and she's back with us. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great today. Positive expectations brings positive results, right?
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting how they say, even fashion stuff, goes away, then comes back. When it comes to helping us heal, this is what we're going to talk about here. This is the way it was thousands of years ago, right?
Yeah. So what I want to kind of sync us up is we are electromagnetic beings, and the Earth is electromagnetic. And I don't know if you've heard that there's kind of a new wave going about grounding mats and people more interested in healing through grounding and getting barefoot on the grass and that kind of thing. And so
this is my grounding mat. There you go.
So here we are. This is how we have connected to the earth. So here is a Chinese chart, and I don't know if I need to change the lighting. Is it where it's too reflective?
We can see it. It's in the distance there, but it's certainly there's clarity on it.
Okay. And then do you see this one over here? It's more Native American.
You can see it, but it's it's in the distance. But if you could explain it, that would be great.
Okay. So I'm going to go into explaining it. All right. So this is we're dealing with the elements of the earth, and this is representing the east. So in the morning, the sun rises, and this also represents springtime. Now, the organ systems that relate to this are liver, gallbladder. So you take the R off of liver and you have live, you have life. So it represents birth. So when we are born, we are in this realm of liver, gallbladder. So you take the R off of liver and you have live, and gallbladder is you take bladder off of gallbladder, it's the gall of it all. So that's where we can get upset about things. And so the color is green. If you think of gallstones are green. But anyway, grass is green. Everything starts turning green in the spring. So this is where life begins. Well, back in ancient times, so I was showing you a Native American chart too, that so every Native culture goes by this medicine wheel. Now, if you think of a wind catcher, that's what a wind catcher is. It's actually the old medicine wheel, and that's where they dealt with what herbs you used for different organ systems and problems, also acupuncture points and that kind of thing. So in the spring, back in the pioneer days and before that, they would have dandelion salad, or they would use poke salad, or things that were coming up in the spring to heal the liver, gallbladder, do a cleanse for that liver, gallbladder to keep us healthy. Okay. So then if we go to the south, which is this red color in our life cycle, so in the seasons, this is summer. So we've gone from spring to summer. And summer, think of being a kid. You're out of school, you're playing around, you're out running around on the grass, and it's hot. So fire, it represents the element fire, and it's red for heat because it's
Hmm.
hot in the summer. Okay, so if you think of red, if you think of the organ of the body, what would you think of?
The heart.
Yes. So as and also as kids, we might be more sensitive, we might get our feelings hurt, we're learning to mature. So this represents the heart, small intestine, and also our hormones are developing, right? So it's all of our endorphins and hormones. So it's the endocrine system. Okay. So now the next season is actually the earth. It's a lot of times the color orange or yellow, and it represents our stomach. Now, that season is actually harvest. It's where the fields start turning golden. It's time for us to start harvesting hay or wheat or whatever. And this represents the afternoon, and it represents being a teenager. You're now a teenager. So you're getting centered. So this is usually the point in a wind catcher, which is in the center of the wheel. So then the next season we go into is fall. Now, fall is in our life cycle is adulthood. The color is white. So think of, okay, you've got to be perfect. If you want to be a parent, you're going to be trying to teach your kids how to behave right, do better, do the right thing. And so it represents the index finger and the thumb, lung, large intestine. So when we are born, the first thing we do is we take a breath and we go to the back, we poop. The last thing when we die, the last thing we do is we take our last breath and we poop. So the Chinese have put together the lung and large intestine are connected. So this would be where you would treat asthma, anything that would have to do with constipation or the large intestine. But white would represent law, would represent medicine, would represent being in ministry, anything perfect. So it's that shaky finger. It's you should be doing this, you should be doing that. It's the white dimension. And so in medicine, we used to wear the white coats and have the white
Hmm.
dresses and the white hats and all that. Okay, so then the next dimension is black. And back in the day, water, if you saw a bowl of water, everything was made from clay. So if you saw a bowl of water, it looked black. But anyway, this black color is elderly. So when we grow older, what do we have? More trouble with um, uh, controlling our peeing. So say that's why Depends got developed, because people start losing control or have prostate problems or
Hmm.
whatever. And so the black represents the water dimension and elderly. So that season is winter. So um, so this, if everything's cycling, and I don't know if you can see my chart here, if everything's cycling perfectly, we're going through the seasons, we're going through the day, so that the winter would be nighttime. And so we are a representation of the earth. We are connected. We're like a microcosm of the macrocosm of the earth. So all the different, whether you're in Hawaii, Africa, South America, North America, whatever, Europe, this medicine wheel has been universal throughout time. The herbs that you would take for these different problems have been universal all through time. And probably the Egyptians, there's hieroglyphs of the Egyptians, which probably uh, indicated more information. Even the Chinese had textbooks going back 5,000 to 10,000 years saying how the liver did 500 functions. The gallbladder had 300 functions and enzymes that went to the spleen and pancreas. So in modern day, they'll take out that gallbladder and not think a thing about it. But it actually is pretty important for digestion and for helping the spleen and pancreas and, say, diabetes and that kind of thing. And so back in the day, they would do a gallbladder cleanse, and it's basically drinking apple juice for 5 days. Then after that evening, you will drink some olive oil to lube up everything. And that morning, you drink a little bit of hot Epsom salt to boil out those stones. And you lay down on your left side for about 30 minutes. And before you know it, you are eliminating all those gallstones.
Wow.
So
So
there are,
it makes you wonder, Teresa. Back then, they weren't doing surgery. They didn't have I can't think of what it is, but the type of surgery they do where they just make one tiny little hole and they can remove things.
laparoscopic.
Thank you. Um,
Yes.
so somebody has a gallbladder attack. Do you feel that way back they even knew what that was? Were they able to identify? Yeah, this person has an issue with their gallbladder, so we're going to do a cleanse.
Well, what's interesting is they knew about all these different enzyme functions of the liver and gallbladder way before they had lab and my uh, microbial would be able to check out
Sure.
things with microscopes and have microbiology and all that kind of stuff. So
Wow.
they were writing it in their textbooks thousands of years ago. So it's kind of interesting. How did they know that? I
Exactly.
don't know,
I d-
but it's universal. So this is another interesting thing about the herbs is these countries have and continents have been exchanging herbs uh, all these years. Like the Samoans used to go use a North Star and go up to Hawaii and exchange herbs and implements. In Santa Cruz, they found remains of Hawaiian implements. Those Indians wore feather skirts instead of grass skirts and traded with Hawaiians, and they were in those little flat boats. So I've heard from my patients that are from those parts of the world that the legends go that these sea animals would hold them up in their boats going through storms and stuff when they would be traveling. But
wow.
anyway, I know. So there's probably at least 150 basic herbs that will treat all these organ systems. And but they've been universal, and even different fruits have been transported around. So it's amazing that this medicine wheel. So I've had people from Africa bring me herbs that are the same herbs that I've used in Chinese medicine or Native American medicine. And
I
so,
I found the power of herbs about a year and a half ago. Was having some
oh really?
oh my gosh, digestion issues. I had an ulcer back in the day. I thought the ulcer was back. All stress. Already knew what it was. All stress. And I was dealing with that, and I connected with a master herbalist, and she goes, "Yeah, got just what you need: marshmallow root, cat's claw, and catnip. Came in a bottle." She goes, "Take that." And by the way, I was ready to drive myself to the hospital. It had gotten that bad,
For
uncomfortable.
sure, it's painful.
And then she said, "An aloe vera. Make sure you drink aloe vera
Yes,
juice with pulp to coat." I did it for 2.5 days.
you're healed.
Completely. Unbelievable. In fact, I even shared that bottle with other people that were going through some stuff.
Uh-huh.
And that's there it is. I mean, and what was I taking? Nexium and all that other stuff, trying to, yeah,
Right.
and it didn't do anything. Um, it's amazing how this stuff works, but shouldn't be surprised. This is what they were doing thousands of years ago. This was medicine.
So I don't know if you've seen the Netflix series Outlanders.
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, anyway, well, it's a thing where this lady, you know how the stones are in England, we have these different formations around the earth where they feel like maybe aliens, or there's been um, things built like the pyramids. How
Hmm.
did they build those? They might have had some help in some way by aliens. But anyway, then this is the other. Anyway, she time travels. She's a doctor in the United States, and she time travels back to 1600s in Scotland and gets put in a turret in a castle and starts studying all the herbs. And so she starts figuring out the medicines that she's learned in med school and the herbs, in the 1600s, and starts helping people. But um, going back to our planet, uh, in our solar system, we are the only planet with life. So I don't know if you remember back when we were circling the Earth and going to the moon, but we found out that once we left the Earth's atmosphere and its electromagnetic field, when they came back, they didn't have any circulation. They couldn't walk. They'd
Wow.
break a femur. They'd have to carry them. And so I've heard at the space station they have to do like 8 hours a day on the treadmill to keep circulation going. And so in one of my next series, I'm going to talk about microcirculation and the beamer and the electromagnetic field, because that is this whole grounding thing, this thing with the Earth is so important. So we are the only planet in our solar system and many other solar systems that have life. They have humans, have animals, rivers, forests, trees. The closest planets around the sun are called the rocky midgets. Mercury, Mars, Venus, they're just rocky and they're little. The planets outside, further out from the Earth, are considered the gassy giants. They're just large and they're just made out of gas. Well, there's no life on those. And so we're a very special planet with this electromagnetic uh, molten center that gives us, if we ground to it, circulation, life, healing. And so I'm glad you got that grounding.
Wow. Wow.
you
You know
know,
what? Teresa, I never thought of it that way. I thought of it, yes, okay, grounding is beneficial. We're connecting to the ground. You hug a tree, its roots go into the ground. You're connecting with
yes,
the ground. All good. But what you just said, how eventually it leads to the Earth's, I guess, electromagnetic core.
yes,
I never
that,
even thought about that. That's pretty
yes,
wild and powerful.
it is. And so when we're born, the minute we're born, where the planets are around the sun, those that are close to the sun are more about our personality. The planets further out that take 10 to 12 years to circle around the sun, those are generational. And so that's where we get this Gen X or Alpha A or millenniums or the baby boomers, latchkey. So we have these 10, 12-year time frames where that's more the attributes of that generation and what they're going through, because everything keeps evolving and changing.
Hmm.
So we're a special solar system, but if you look at a telescope and you look out there in the sky, there's a gazillion solar systems like pebbles of sand on a beach. And what I've heard is the only planet that may be close to our planet Earth is the center planet of Orion's belt called Pleiades. But who knows? And then there's supposed to be a great central sun that everything rotates around. But we're a very special planet. And even though, we have the positive and negatives of life, we have different things happen to them. And that's why I said earlier positive expectations yield positive results. We have to stay positive and do the best we can through all the bumps in the road. But this is a very awesome, beautiful place, and we have to really appreciate our life here and what it's given us, because it's Better than being on Mars.
Yes. And I got to
So,
tell you, I've learned with you today that you run deeper than I ever imagined in such a wonderful way. But even in terms of astrology, yes, I know that you do therapeutic massage. I know you do acupuncture. But I didn't know you run this deep in terms of what's going on, all of this. Did you get interested in this? Was your interest in, call it Chinese medicine first, and then you pivoted over to acupuncture, or was it the other way around?
I I actually started having an interest in, say, astrology as an early teenager. I was collecting acupuncture charts and um, Oriental teapots and furniture and things like that as a teenager. And then I decorated my house Oriental when I first moved out when I was 18. But then I think, going back to my story last time, I bridged into through different life situations, bridged into alternative medicine. But I also combined Western medicine. I went to nursing school. I was going to do, I was pre med until I changed my mind and started the acupuncture school in Oklahoma. Now, the interesting thing is the story behind my teacher who was a medic in Vietnam, and he decided he didn't want to come back and be a farmer from Arkansas like his dad, and so he took astronomy and engineering, and he went and helped build the first telescope in the Big Island of Hawaii, which is the tallest mountain in the world, starting at sea level. Well, he went blind one day going up and down that mountain because of the altitude change. And the locals said, "Well, you just need to go get acupuncture and you'll get your sight back." And he did. And then
Wow.
he had a baby, 9 months old, and it had asthma real bad and almost died one night. And the locals said, "Well, you just need to go get acupuncture for that baby and it'll get over that asthma." And so they did, and it did. And so after he finished his project there with that telescope, he found a master teacher in Santa Fe. And when he finished his internship and studies with him, which was about 3 years, he looked at his wife. He's like, "Okay, where are we going to begin our practice? Where are we going to go?" And they both had a little Cherokee in them. She was from San Francisco. He's from Arkansas. Um, she was sent there in the summer times by her family, and that's how they got to know each other's kids and got married later. But they decided to go to Tahlequah, which is the Cherokee capital of the world. And so when we did school, we had medicine men coming in and out, and we learned Native American medicine as well as Japanese medicine.
Amazing.
And so they were coming in and getting the herbs, the Chinese Japanese herbs. They were the same herbs that the Native Americans were using.
Mm.
And so we burn an herb on the end of the needle called mugwort. I tease my clients and tell them that it's the Harry Potter part of the treatment.
I was thinking the same exact thing. We are out of time. We are out of time. And
It was fun. It was fun.
I just got a text from somebody that I know. I didn't even know this was on their radar. They said, "Oh, yeah, by the way, I hope everything's good. I'm walking in to get acupuncture for the first time for their complexion in place of Botox." All right. I'm not even kidding. I just got that text. Okay.
Yeah, I call that a Japanese facial.
Ah, there you go. Teresa, you are amazing with all your insight. TulsaPath.com is the site to your wellness center. Am I right about that?
Right. You're right.
Excellent. Thank you for all the insight today. Learned a lot. You run way deeper than I ever imagined in such a great way. And looking forward next time we get together.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Bye-bye.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.